This unit is on quadratics, and what we're trying to do today is find the vertex of a quadratic equation, and that will help us find the max and minimum. So real quickly, let's just draw what a quadratic might look like. They're parabolas, and they can either look like this or like this. The vertex is either the minimum in this case or the maximum in that case. That's what the vertex is. It's the very bottom or the very top of the quadratic. So what we want to do is know how to find this without a calculator. First of all, the general form for a quadratic equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Now a, b, and c are just coefficients or constants that can change. X is obviously our variable, y is a variable as well. So it's one thing we need to start with is whether to tell if it's the first kind of equation like this or if it's the second kind of parabola like this. We call this one opening up and this one opening down. Now hopefully that's obvious, but if you can't remember, then look at it this way. This one opens up and this one opens down. So hopefully that'll help you remember. And the way you can know if it opens up or down just by looking at the equation is by looking at the coefficient in front of x squared. If a is greater than 0, it opens up. If a is less than 0, it opens down. So in other words, if a is positive, it opens up. If a is negative, it opens down. So let's just graph a couple examples, and then we will move on to how to find the vertex. So here's our graph. Let's say we go to y equals, and I plug in 2x squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay, well, all we have to do to know if it's going to open up or down is look at the x squared, and it has a positive 2 in front of it. Since it's positive, we know it's going to open up. And you can see that it does there. It opens up. Okay, keep in mind, a is what's in front of x squared no matter what order you put things in. So I could have 4 minus x squared. And in this case, my a, the number in front of the x squared, is negative 1. It's an understood 1, but it's clearly negative because of the minus sign. So I know this one is going to open down, as you can see there. So you should be able to, from here on out, just look at an equation and tell if it's opening up or down. So for example, if we have y equals 7x squared minus 5x plus 1, you automatically know that it opens up. Or if you have negative 3x squared plus 4x minus 5, then that's going to open down. And you can tell that, again, just by looking at what's in front of the x squared. That's a negative, that's a positive. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know how to do, is tell whether it opens up or opens down. Now to find the vertex, again, the vertex is either the minimum or the maximum. The vertex is at x equals negative b over 2a. And again, that goes back to these letters here. So b is the number in front of x, and a is the number in front of x squared. So we get, for example, if we have 2x squared minus x plus 3. Okay, our b is the number in front of x. That would be negative 1. So we put negative 1 over 2 times a. So 2 times a is 2 times 2. So we get positive 1 on top over 4. So we know our vertex is at x equals 1/4. Now if we want to find the entire ordered pair, the x and the y value, we just take this 1/4 and we plug it back in here. So for example, I could do this in my calculator. I could plug in 2x squared minus x, let's see, plus 3. And then just plug 1/4 in the table. It's probably the easiest way to do it. So it would be 2.875. So our ordered pair for our vertex would be at 1/4, 2.875. So that's how we find our vertex. Let's try another one. Let's do 7 plus 5x minus 3x squared. Okay, we do negative b over 2a. Well, here's our b, so we'll put negative 5 on top over 2 times a. Here's our a, so we put 2 times negative 3. So our vertex is at negative 5 over negative 6, which is 5/6. So that's the x value. That's important to remember. That's the x value where your vertex is located. If you want to know the whole thing, then you can just plug your graph in. Let's see, 7 minus 5x minus 3x squared. 7 minus 5x minus 3x squared. Sorry, I have an extra x there. Let me fix that. And we need 3x squared. Okay. 7 minus 5x minus 3x squared. And we're going to the table, and we're going to plug in 5 over 6. So we want to know what it is. It's 0.75. So 5 over 6, 3/4, or 0.75. That would be our vertex. Okay, now like I said, the vertex is always the maximum or the minimum. And the way you know which one it is just by looking at whether it opens up or down. So let's go back and look at our first example. This is clearly a positive 2, which means it opens up. Well, if you open up, your vertex is down here, so it's clearly a minimum. So not only did we find the vertex, but we found the minimum is at 1/4, 2.875. Now if we look at our second example, our a, our number in front of x squared, was negative, which means it opens down. And if you look at what opens down, that's clearly going to be a maximum. So not only did we find the vertex in the second example, we found where the maximum was located. And it's at 5/6, 3/4. Okay, just one more example for us to look at with this. Let's take the equation f of x equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 1. And we're going to say find the vertex and determine if it is a maximum or a minimum. Alright, so first of all, our vertex is found by doing negative b over 2a. So here's our b, so we get negative 4 over 2 times a. Our a is negative 1. So we get negative 4 over negative 2, which is positive 2. So our vertex is at x equals 2. So that's part of the ordered pair. If we want to find the other part, we need to plug 2 into our equation. Because remember, f of x equals y. That's the same thing. We could have written y equals all that. So to find the y, we just need to plug the 2 in for the x's right here. So I'll get negative 2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 1. So 2 squared is 4, and that becomes negative 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I believe that is a 5. So we get the ordered pair 2, 5. That is our vertex. Now the question is, does the vertex happen at a maximum or a minimum? Let's go back and look. A was negative. That means it opens downward. If it opens downward, then you clearly have a maximum. So this would be a maximum at the point 2, 5.